You are the principal architect for CCPA. You have enough experience in international markets. You've seen a lot of best practices in international markets. What are one or two things that you believe as India we should learn from those international markets? And what are one or two things that you think we can export to those markets?
See, I thought, let me have some fun. In India, we actually have a middle class of only about 3%. Only 3% of the people in this country pay income tax.
Right.
Only
Yes.
3%, I'm being generous. Only 3% have medical coverage. 97% could give a damn what we're talking in this meeting. This 3% lives in cities, so you get a situation in Bombay where maybe 25% of the people here could afford an EMI for some kind of housing in the entire metropolitan region. Only about 25%. Now, I have an office in Shanghai where 30% of the people are part of the middle class. Casually, I was talking to a friend of mine who has a real estate business in Wuhan, and he said, I build about 2 million square feet of housing a year in Wuhan. And I thought, wow, I can't believe this now. And so a hypothesis, can we create a middle class in India? Can we take this 3% and make it larger? So now a story. In 1915, there was a gentleman called Henry Ford. He had built a factory called River Rouge, employing 10,000 people in an integrated production line, where he produced 1,000 Model T cars a day. After about 6 months of operation, he was talking with one of his finance advisors who said, you know something, within 3 years, we're going to run out of customers. You would need to earn $10 a day to buy a Model T Ford, and people, including at River Rouge, we only pay $5 a day. So you know what Henry Ford did? He said, then we'll increase our salaries at River Rouge over the next 2 years to $10 a day, and it will force all the other industries through unions. They'll all say, the laborers will demand the same salary. So Henry Ford, in essence, created the American middle class. Henry Ford created the middle class. Now, one of the gentlemen introduced this conference saying that our sector is the second largest employer in India.
Correct.
If we're the second largest employer in India, can't we increase the wages of our skilled workers, for example? Can't we make them into new clients? Shouldn't the 75% of the people in the region here in Bombay who cannot afford EMIs, can we make some of them our clients? So these kind of questions we have to think of in a very large
nice.
scale.
Very out-of-box thinking.
I could even give another example of my client in China. I have friends in India who own pharmacy companies. I ask them, why don't you put money in R&D? They say, well, we would need new products, new turnover, etc., and then we would go into R&D. I have a client in China for whom I'm building a 2 million square foot research laboratory for 2,800 scientists. Now, he presently has about 280 scientists working for him. So I said, what's the deal? I mean, how can you go 10 times bigger? He said, because I believe if I think ahead and invest in research, I'll create new products that fate will be on my side. If I do the research and think of new products, then I'll be able to afford to run this establishment. Last week, on the 2nd of October, his drug for Alzheimer's disease was cleared. It's going on the market within 4 months. Alzheimer's disease. No? It's the only cure for Alzheimer's that's been talked about in the last 20 years. So here's a man who talks about R&D and taking it as the lead rather than at the back of the house. And he's actually going to pay for the building I'm designing within probably a year of selling this drug for Alzheimer's disease. So I'm thinking, can we think out of the box in this country and create a middle class? And then, frankly, all of our housing problems would be solved.
Well done. What a great idea, Christopher. Fantastic, real out-of-box thinking on that one.